In the middle of the broken ruins of the ancient alien city of Zarentha, dust and silence ruled. Once, this place was full of life, glowing energy, and advanced alien knowledge. Now, only old machines and strange symbols remained. And among the ruins stood two beings from very different worlds. Kara was a proud young alien warrior from the elite Korath race. She wore shimmering bronze armor and had glowing blue skin that sparkled under the twin suns. Her long white hair flowed behind her, and her violet eyes burned with pride. She believed her people were the strongest, the smartest, and the rightful keepers of the galaxy's secrets. Beside her was Jackson, a human, dirty, tired, and stubborn. His armor was scratched and patched, his boots covered in sand. He looked around with curiosity, not fear. Kara crossed her arms and watched him. You really think you can activate the core mechanism? A human? You don't even know what half these runes mean. Jackson didn't answer. He knelt beside the large, ancient platform. The circular device was massive, with glowing alien symbols carved deep into the surface. It had not moved in thousands of years. Careful, Kara said mockingly. Wouldn't want your fragile human brain to explode from confusion? Jackson smirked. You sure love talking down to me. I only speak truth, Kara said proudly. This device was created by my ancestors. Even we no longer know how to control it. But you've tried, Jackson said, brushing off dust from one of the symbols. For decades, nothing worked. Jackson looked at her. Maybe you were trying too hard. Before Kara could respond, a sudden sound echoed through the ruins. A low, distant hum. Both of them turned sharply. The ground shook slightly. Dust rained from above. What was that? Kara asked, voice suddenly tense. Jackson stood up. That wasn't from me. From the north end of the city, something rose. Into the air, dark ships. Black like smoke, moving fast. The emblem on their side was unmistakable. Kara's eyes widened. Vralkan warships. The Vralkans. Ruthless, cold-blooded aliens who destroyed civilizations to steal their technology. And now they were here. Have to leave, Kara said. Now. But Jackson didn't move. His eyes locked on the glowing device before them. They're after this, he said. The core mechanism. Kara pulled his arm. Then all the more reason to run. Jackson looked at her. You told me your ancestors built this to stop a great evil, right? Kara nodded slowly. A weapon, yes. But it was never finished. It was too powerful. He stepped forward, hands hovering over the runes. Maybe it's time someone finished it. Kara's voice cracked with panic. You don't know what you're doing. The humming sound grew louder. The device began to glow brighter. Jackson stopped. If you touch the wrong thing, but Jackson closed his eyes. His fingers moved over the symbols, not randomly, but as if guided by something unseen. Suddenly, the ground pulsed. A shockwave pushed both of them back. The core mechanism came to life. Rotating rings lifted into the air. Energy crackled. The sky above twisted into a swirling storm. Strange alien words echoed all around. Kara lay on the ground, frozen, staring in disbelief. That's impossible. Jackson stood tall, wind blasting his jacket back. He looked down at his hand. The symbols on the platform had burned a mark into his skin. You? You activated it, Kara whispered, her jaw hanging open. He looked at her, calm and steady. Maybe your ancestors weren't just talking to their future. Maybe they were talking to mine. And just then a beam of red light shot from above. A Vralkan scout had spotted them. Run! Jackson shouted, pulling Kara up, but even as they ran, the ancient platform behind them rose higher, its power waking something deep beneath the planet's surface. Something neither Kara nor Jackson understood. Yet, Asterisk, the ground trembled as Kara and Jackson sprinted through the crumbling streets of Zarantha. Overhead, the Vrelkan ships circled like vultures, scanning the ruins for signs of life. Kara's heart pounded not from the running, but from the impossible thing she had just witnessed. The human had activated the core mechanism. Something her people had failed to do for centuries. It made no sense. How did you do that? She asked, gasping for breath. Jackson didn't slow down. I don't know exactly. I just ... Followed the symbols. Followed them? She repeated. They're in an ancient Korath dialect, one even I can barely read. He gave a quick glance back. Well, maybe they weren't just meant for you. Another explosion shook the ground behind them. Dust shot into the air and a huge statue of a long-forgotten alien hero crashed to the ground. We can't outrun the Vrelkans, Kara said. There's too many. Jackson pointed to a narrow alley. There! That leads underground. I saw it earlier. Kara hesitated, but followed him. The alley was tight, and the entrance to the tunnel was hidden behind vines and collapsed stones. Jackson ducked inside, Kara right behind. They crawled through the darkness for a while before reaching a hidden chamber. The walls were lined with glowing crystals. Strange echoes whispered through the space voices neither of them could understand. Kara held her blade ready. This place, it wasn't on any of our maps. Jackson approached a wall filled with more ancient symbols. He touched one, and the wall flickered, revealing a hologram, a glowing image of the planet as it was long ago. In the center was the core mechanism. Beneath it, a vast machine, buried deep underground, stretching across the whole city. It's not just a weapon, Jackson said quietly. It's a system. A whole defense network. Kara stepped closer. We thought the core was everything, but it's just the key. And now it's unlocked, Jackson replied. Suddenly, the ground shook again, but this time it wasn't from the Vrelkans. A deep rumbling sound echoed from below. Something had awakened. Kara looked around nervously. What did you start? Before he could answer, a loud grinding noise echoed from behind them. The tunnel was closing. Move! Jackson shouted. They ran forward, reaching a stairway made of glowing metal. Each step lit up as they ran. The deeper they went, the warmer the air became, and the louder the machine's hum grew. At the bottom of the stairs, they found a wide room, round, ancient and full of control panels and pulsing lights. At its center stood a massive pillar with strange markings. Kara reached out slowly. This is the heart of Zarantha, the city's power core. Jackson looked at the pillar. And it's starting back up. A sharp beep came from the pillar. It lit up fully and a voice spoke. System awake. Identifying user. Human DNA confirmed. Primary control granted. Kalan. Kara gasped. It ... It chose you. Jackson frowned. Why would it choose me over you? Because it doesn't just read bloodlines, Kara whispered. It reads intent, spirit, belief. Jackson was quiet for a moment, then nodded. I didn't come here for power. I came to stop the war. Suddenly, the pillar projected another image. It showed the Vrelkan ships descending, dozens of them. Then a countdown began. Invader presence detected. Activating defense phase 1 to -90 seconds. Kalan. Kara looked at Jackson. It's going to attack. He nodded. We can't let it fire blindly. There are civilians out there, innocents. Then shut it down. She cried. I don't know how. He snapped. I barely turned it on. He placed his hand on the pillar, focusing. More symbols appeared in front of him, floating in the air. He scanned them quickly. Kara watched him. He was calm, focused, like the system was speaking to him directly. At the last second, he pressed one symbol. The countdown froze at 3 seconds. Manual override accepted. Phase 1 halted. Colon silence returned to the chamber. Jackson stepped back, breathing hard. Kara looked at him, her voice low. You just stopped a planetary defense strike ... by instinct. He looked at his glowing hand. Whatever this place is, I think it was waiting for me. Before she could respond, the ground rumbled again stronger than before, but this time, it wasn't just the defense system. Something else had awakened beneath the ruins. Something ancient. Something alive. The ancient chamber shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. The glowing pillar pulsed like a beating heart. And from deep below the ground, a low roar echoed long, heavy, and full of power. Jackson turned to Kara. That sound was that? The machine? Kara stepped back, eyes wide. No, that wasn't the machine. That was something alive. A large circular door on the far side of the chamber slid open slowly. Beyond it, a dark tunnel stretched downward, deeper into the forgotten. Core of Zarantha. I don't think we should go down there, Kara said softly. Jackson stared into the tunnel. If this place woke up when I touched the pillar, maybe something else woke up too. And we need to know what it is before the Vrelkins get here. They moved carefully into the tunnel. The walls glowed faint blue, pulsing like veins under skin. As they walked deeper, the air grew warmer. The air felt charged, like during a lightning storm. Kara whispered, My people believe this city had a guardian spirit, a protector hidden beneath the ruins. But we thought it was just a story. Well, Jackson replied, stories usually come from somewhere. They reached a massive chamber at the end of the tunnel. It was completely round, with a high ceiling, covered in old runes. In the center stood a giant figure motionless, half buried in dust and wires. It was not a statue. It was a machine. But unlike anything Jackson had seen before, it stood over 20 feet tall. Its body was a mix of metal and glowing crystal. Its face looked like a warrior's helmet. And in its chest, a glowing blue orb beat slowly like a heart. What is that? Jackson whispered. Kara answered in awe. The Guardian. It's real. As they stepped closer, the orb in the Guardian's chest pulsed brighter. The giant machine moved just slightly. A groan of metal echoed. Kara grabbed her weapon. It's waking up. Suddenly, the Guardian's head turned. Its glowing eyes lit up. Primary user detected. Human signal matched. Defense protocol. Stand by. Jackson blinked. It's responding to me again. Kara looked between him and the Guardian. You've bonded with the core. That means the entire city, its weapons, its defenses, even this thing sees you as its master. The Guardian slowly knelt, bowing its giant head toward Jackson. Jackson took a step back. Whoa, that's a bit much. Before he could speak again, the Guardian raised one arm and projected a large 3D map into the air. It showed the entire city and all the surrounding land. Red marks filled the northern sky. Vrelkin ships, hundreds of them, were on the way. And they were almost here. Jackson stared. They're going to hit us in minutes. Kara looked at the map. And the people? In the outer ruins, they won't stand a chance. Jackson turned to the Guardian. Can you help us? Can you protect the city? The Guardian responded with a deep voice. Request understood. Defense mode initiating. Warning. City shield system is damaged. Limited protection available. Then we buy time, Jackson said. Enough time to fix it or fight back. Suddenly, the map zoomed in on a flashing red point, one of the shield pylons in the west sector. It had gone dark, Kara pointed. That's one of the shield towers. If we can restart it, we might give the city a better chance. Jackson looked at her. Let's move. But before they could exit, a loud explosion shook the upper tunnels. Dust poured from the ceiling. The Vrelkins had landed. They're here, Kara said, drawing her weapon. Jackson touched the Guardian's arm. "Protect the core. Don't let them in." The Guardian rose to its full height. A panel opened in its back, revealing an old weapon. Wreck ancient, but still powered. Jackson grabbed a plasma spear and tossed another to Kara. "Let's show them what happens when you push too far." They rushed back up the tunnel toward the surface. Each step pounded with urgency. Above, in the sky, Vrelkan dropships were already flying over the ruins. Deploying armed scouts, Jackson and Kara burst from the hidden chamber and moved across the broken streets, racing toward the shield tower. Lasers fired from above, hitting the ground nearby. One shot struck a column, nearly crushing them. Jackson rolled and shouted, "Go left!" They ducked into a building and burst through the back. The tower was now in view, tall and silent, like a dead tree. Kara ran to the base panel. "I'll reboot the system. Cover me." Jackson turned and faced the enemy. 3 Vrelkan warriors landed just ahead. Each wore heavy armor, tall and black. With glowing red eyes, one pointed at Jackson. "Surrender the core key." Jackson smiled. "You want it? Come get it." He charged. Jackson charged toward the 3 Vrelkan warriors with the plasma spear in his hand. The aliens were taller and stronger, with sharp armor and deadly weapons. But Jackson didn't stop. He had no fear. Not now. The first Vrelkan swung its heavy blade, but Jackson ducked under it and slammed the spear into the alien's side. Blast sent the creature flying backward, crashing into a wall. The other 2 spread out, circling him. From behind the broken wall, Kara shouted, "Hold them off a little longer." "I almost have the tower rebooted." Jackson didn't answer. He was busy fighting for his life. The second Vrelkan lunged forward. Jackson blocked the strike and countered, slashing across its chest. Sparks flew. The creature screamed, but the third warrior was smarter. It fired a shot from its arm cannon. The energy beam grazed Jackson's leg, burning through his armor. He dropped to one knee, gritting his teeth in pain. The Vrelkan approached slowly, raising its cannon for a final shot. Then, boom! A bright blast of light came from the tower's base. Kara had activated the shield node. A shockwave of blue energy surged upward, surrounding the tower and spreading outward. The force hit the Vrelkan, throwing it backward like a leaf in a storm. Jackson looked up. The tower was glowing again. A soft hum filled the air. Kara ran to him and helped him up. "Shield tower is online." Jackson smiled through the pain. "Perfect timing." The 2 of them looked up as the energy shield spread wider, connecting to other towers across the city. The outer defenses were waking up. A moment later, a message echoed through the air from the city's defense network. "Shield grid at 32%. Additional towers required to reinforce perimeter." Jackson winced. "Not enough." Kara nodded. "We'll need at least 2 more towers online to cover the city." Before they could move, a deep rumble echoed from the north. They turned and saw massive Vrelkan tanks rolling through the ruins. Soldiers marched beside them. "They're not giving up," Kara said. "We can't either," Jackson replied. "What's the nearest tower from here?" Kara pulled up a small scanner device and checked. "East side. Near the collapsed amphitheater." "Let's move." They made their way through back streets, avoiding patrols and drones. The ruins were alive now with battle. Cries, gunfire, and explosions filled the air. As they reached the amphitheater, they saw civilians, mostly alien scavengers and historians, running for cover. Some were trapped under rubble. Others tried to hide. Jackson stopped. "We have to help them." Kara frowned. "We don't have time." "We make time," Jackson said firmly. He rushed forward, lifting fallen beams and pulling survivors free. Kara hesitated but then joined him. In minutes, they had saved 7 people. One of them, an older alien engineer, looked up at Jackson. Thank you. We thought we were dead. Jackson handed him a small weapon. Help protect the others. Head south, there's a guardian watching. Over the core. As the group ran off, Kara looked at Jackson. You could have left them. But you didn't, he shrugged. What's the point of saving a city if you let the people die? Kara didn't answer, but her expression had changed. A little softer now. They reached the base of the eastern shield tower. It was buried under vines and sand. This one's older, Kara said. Might take longer to restart. Then I'll buy you more time, Jackson said, gripping his plasma spear again. Relkin drones flew overhead. The moment they saw Jackson, they fired. He dodged, rolled, and threw his spear like a lightning bolt. It pierced one drone, causing it to explode mid-air, but more were coming. Kara worked fast, her fingers dancing over the control panel. Come on, come on. Jackson shouted. Hurry! Just as 3 more drones swooped down, Kara slammed her hand on the panel. The ground shook and another blue wave surged from the tower, knocking the drones out of the sky. The shield beam shot upward, linking to the others. Shield grid at 64%. Almost there, Kara said, panting. Jaxon smiled. Let's light up one more. As they started toward the final tower, Kara looked at him and said, You know, I thought humans were clumsy and slow. And now? Jackson asked. She looked ahead. Now I think I don't know anything at all. Far above them, the shield. Grid began forming a dome, but deep beneath the city, something stirred again. The Guardian opened its eyes wide and turned toward the southern catacombs. Warning. Anomaly detected. Ancient lockbreaker signal approaching. It wasn't just the Vrelkins who were after the core. Something older and far more dangerous was coming. Far beneath the ancient city, in the deepest tunnels of Zerantha, the Guardian stood still watching, its glowing eyes turned red. Warning. Lockbreaker class entity detected. Origin unknown. Intent hostile. The ancient systems buzzed with energy. But even the Guardian, strong and old as it was, paused. Because what approached was not from this time. Not even from this galaxy. Above, in the ruins, Jackson and Kara climbed over rubble toward the final shield tower. It stood half buried under a fallen building. The air smelled of fire. Smoke from the ongoing battle filled the sky. We get this last one online, Kara said, and the entire shield dome will activate. Jackson nodded. Let's finish it. They reached the base of the tower and began clearing debris. But then Kara's communicator buzzed with a strange signal. She tapped it and the Guardian's voice came through. Human, Korath, listen closely. An entity known as Lockbreaker has entered the lower levels. It is searching for the core. Kara's face went pale. No, what is it? Jackson asked. Kara's voice was low. Lockbreaker, a myth from before even my people's records. A being that doesn't conquer, it corrupts. It breaks ancient tech and bends it to its will. Like hijacking. The core? She nodded. Yes, and if it reaches the heart of Zerantha, it will control everything, even the Guardian. Jackson looked toward the distant core tower. Then we stop it. But first, this shield. They worked fast. Kara cracked the tower's access panel while Jackson kept watch. Enemy scouts patrolled nearby. One wrong sound and they'd be caught. Finally, the panel glowed. Kara hit the last sequence. A flash of blue energy shot upward. The dome above the city shimmered to life complete. Shield grid at 100%. Full city shield activated. A deep hum covered the ruins. Above, the Vrelkin warships slammed into the invisible dome and bounced back. The city was safe for now. Kara stepped back, breathless. We did it, but Jackson wasn't smiling. That thing. It's still coming. Suddenly, The ground beneath them cracked. A long tendril of black smoke pushed up through the stone, twisting like a living snake. Kara pulled her weapon. Get back! The smoke thickened, forming a strange shape, a shadowy figure with no face. It floated in the air, scanning them. Then it spoke, without sound into their minds. You opened the core. Jackson stepped forward. Who are you? I am the lockbreaker. I was sealed here long ago, but now you have freed me. Kara's voice trembled. That wasn't us. The core chose him. You're not welcome here. The lockbreaker laughed, its voice like ice and fire. IT doesn't matter. I will rewrite the core. This world's power is mine now. And then it vanished. No, Jackson shouted. It's heading for the core. Kara looked around. We're too far to stop it. Just then, a loud roar echoed through the city and the Guardian leapt from a central tower, crashing down like thunder. Its massive body glowed with power. It landed near them, sending shockwaves through the ground. It spoke. Human, your authority is still active. I offer passage. Come. Platform extended from the Guardian's arm. Jackson and Kara jumped onto it, holding tight as the Guardian launched back into the air. It flew fast, racing over rooftops and wreckage. Fires and lasers lit the sky. Vrelkan forces still fought along the outskirts, but now the true danger was below. Within minutes, the Guardian reached the core tower. The platform lowered, and Jackson and Kara ran inside. The once calm structure now pulsed with red lights. Alarms echoed through the walls. Symbols on the control panels had changed, twisted, corrupted. Black vines of energy crept over the machines. The lockbreaker was already inside. They rushed down the spiraling stairs into the main chamber, and there it stood in the center, wrapped in shadows. The blue core crystal pulsed weakly. The lockbreaker's tendrils had reached it. Kara whispered, It's already started merging. Jackson gritted his teeth. Then we stop it here. He stepped forward, raising his hand. The glowing mark on his palm lit up. The core responded, flickering. Like it recognized its true master, the lockbreaker turned its shapeless head. You are too late. Jackson stepped closer. No, you're too late, because this city remembers who it belongs to. The lockbreaker struck first, blasting dark energy straight at him, but Jackson didn't flinch. The core flared. A blue shield formed around him. The attack shattered on impact. Kara raised her weapon and fired, striking the lockbreaker's side. It screeched in fury. Jackson reached the core and placed his hand against it. Show me how to stop him, he whispered. The core responded. Final defense sequence ready. User must initiate. Direct link. Colon. Kara turned to him. Direct link? Jackson, no. That could kill you. He looked at her calmly. And if I don't, it kills everyone. He placed both hands on the crystal. Blue light burst from his chest. His mind began merging with the core, and somewhere deep inside, the city began to fight back. Blue energy surged through Jackson's body as he touched the core crystal. His feet lifted off the ground and his eyes glowed. The crystal pulsed brighter, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. Kara stepped back, shielding her eyes. Jackson! He didn't respond. Inside the core, Jackson's mind had entered a strange place. A world of light, memory, and thought. He stood in the middle of a massive empty space, surrounded by floating symbols, broken fragments of history, and images from the past. Voices echoed all around him, thousands of them. Some were alien, some human, some ancient. You are not. Korath, you are not designed. Why are you here? Jackson answered, I came to protect the city. You are not the builder. You are not the heir. No, but I am the one who cares enough to stop this. The voices grew quiet. Then one voice, calm and clear, spoke above the rest. Then you are the one we've waited for. The core accepts your mind, but the danger must be removed. You must fight it ... from inside. Suddenly, the darkness returned. The lockbreaker had followed him. It appeared in the memory space like a storm cloud, twisting and snarling. Its red eyes burned with hunger. This place is mine now. Jackson stood firm. Not while I'm here. The lockbreaker lunged forward. But this time, Jackson raised his hands and the core responded. Walls of light blocked the attack. He created barriers made of ancient code, defense patterns from long-forgotten times. The lockbreaker screamed in rage. You are human. You cannot win. Jackson grinned. Watch me. Outside, in the real world, Kara watched Jackson float in mid-air, locked in battle within the core. His body glowed, brighter with each passing second, but his breathing was shallow. She turned toward the Guardian. What's happening to him? The Guardian answered with slow words. He is fighting the infection directly, mind to mind, core to core. Can he survive it? Unknown. Never before has a human made contact. Kara looked at Jackson, then clenched her fists. Then I'm not going to just stand here. She turned to the console. Her hands flew across it. She activated support protocols, defensive subroutines, anything to help from the outside. Inside the core, Jackson was losing ground. The lockbreaker grew larger, overpowering the shields. His energy flickered. Then he heard Kara's voice. It echoed in the core mind. You're not alone, Jackson. A sudden wave of strength filled him. He remembered the people they saved, the shields they reactivated. The way Kara had stopped mocking him and started believing in him. Jackson focused all that emotion, hope, protection, courage, and scent. It blasting at the lockbreaker. The creature reeled backward. Jackson shouted, This city belongs to those who fight for it. Blue lightning burst from his hands, striking the lockbreaker. The dark energy screamed and cracked apart. Outside, Kara watched the core pulse wildly. Energy spilled from the crystal like a rising storm. The lockbreaker's voice grew desperate. If I fall, I will take you with me. It lunged at Jackson one last time. But Jackson didn't move. He stood tall and steady. The core exploded with light. Inside, the lockbreaker's form shattered. Its code broke. Its shadow burned away. In a single flash it was gone. Silence returned. Jackson fell to his knees inside the core's memory space. The voices around him whispered gently, The danger has passed. You did what no one else could. You are one of us now. Outside, Jackson collapsed to the ground. Kara rushed forward and caught him. He was unconscious but breathing. The Guardian stepped forward. Lockbreaker threat neutralized. Core purity restored. User status alive. Kara smiled in relief. She whispered, You did it, human. High above the city, the shield dome glowed brighter. The skies cleared. And the Vrelkins began retreating. Their systems had picked up the destruction of the lockbreaker. Whatever they had come to steal, they now feared. They fled, one by one. Their ships turned and vanished into the stars. Kara knelt beside Jackson, holding his hand. You changed everything, she said quietly, and you're not even from here. The core crystal glowed gently. A soft hum filled the room, calm and peaceful. But the story wasn't over yet. The Guardian spoke once more. One task remains. The city must choose its new keeper. Kalan, and slowly, the core began to pulse again, this time with something new. A final message. A final decision. Jackson opened his eyes slowly. The soft blue light of the core crystal glowed above him. He was lying on smooth stone, wrapped in warmth and quiet energy. His body ached, but he was alive. Kara sat beside him, her eyes tired but full of relief. You're awake, she said, her voice soft. Jackson smiled weakly. Did we win? Kara nodded. The lockbreaker is gone. The Vrelkins ran when they saw the city fight back, and the people, they're safe. He sat up with effort and looked around. The core room was calm again. No red alarms, no shadows, no chaos. Just peace. The Guardian stood quietly near the chamber's edge. It watched him in silence. Then, its voice echoed through the room. System restored. Core secure. City is awake. Choice must now be made. Kalan Kara stood. It means the city needs a new keeper. Jackson looked at the core, confused. I thought it already accepted me. It did, Kara said. But now it wants to know if you accept it. The floor glowed beneath his feet. Symbols lit up around the core, forming a path toward it. Kara stepped aside. You don't have to do this, she said gently. You've already done enough. Jackson stood, slowly walking toward the crystal. Maybe, but something tells me this isn't about just what I've done. It's about what I'll choose to do next. He placed his hand on the crystal once again. This time, the core didn't pull him into its mind. It simply responded with light, soft and warm, and a voice spoke, not robotic, but old and wise. Jackson, human, you came not to conquer, but to protect. Not to control, but to save. You listened when others laughed. You believed when others doubted. Will you become the keeper of Zarantha? Jackson took a breath. He thought of Earth, of the battles he had faced, the fear he had felt when arriving on this strange planet, the trust he built with Kara, the people he helped, the city he defended. And he answered, double quotes, yes, I accept. The crystal pulsed once, then shattered into light. The energy poured into Jackson, not to harm him, but to join with him. His armor changed, glowing with new lines of ancient Korath design. His eyes shone bright blue for a moment, then faded to normal. Kara watched in awe. You're part of the city now. The Guardian knelt on one knee. All systems acknowledge primary keeper, Jackson of Earth. Kalan, the core chamber lit up. Doors opened all around the city. Machines powered up. Green life began to return where only ruin had been. It was not just victory. It was rebirth. Days passed. Zarantha was no longer a forgotten ruin. Under Jackson's guidance and Kara's help, the city began to heal. Refugees returned. Engineers came to study its power. Peaceful aliens of many species walked its glowing streets. The Guardian stood as protector. But everyone knew the heart of Zarantha now beat with a new rhythm, one of hope, unity, and purpose. One morning, Jackson stood at the top of the core tower, watching the sunrise. Kara joined him. She wore light armor now, her title changed from warrior to protector. You could have gone back to Earth, she said. Jackson smiled. Yeah, but this place needed someone to stay. Someone who understood both weakness and strength. Someone stubborn. Enough to fix what others left broken. She laughed. That does sound like you. They stood in silence for a moment. Then she asked, do you ever miss it? Earth? Jackson looked at the twin suns rising over the alien sky. Sometimes, but I think this is where I was meant to be. The city glowed below them. And for the first time in a long time, there was no war, no fear, no shadows, only peace. And somewhere deep beneath the ground, in the sleeping chamber of the core, one last message flickered to life. The keeper has been chosen. But this is not the end. It is the beginning.